Right. Okay.
Right. So in this session, my wife said, "Oh, you got to video this," because they've been chatting away. So I know nothing about this. So anyway, this is Joshua and me.
Yeah.
Again,
Hey.
naturally. So, oh yes, Joshua's come because he wants me to do a bit of work with him. So.
Yeah, and yesterday I had to do some tests, some blood tests, just to confirm celiac disease. So I was asked to eat a bread roll because it could help, the diagnosis if you got the antibodies. So within an hour I started to notice what had been going on there. And the thing is, I haven't consumed wheat to like a everyday event for about 4 or 5 years. It's always been a little bit on the periphery, a sandwich here and there, a bowl of pasta once a month, those kind of things. And I've noticed since I've been taking out other foods that have been causing me inflammation that I've just thought, oh, it's the bigger story. It's been masking what's going on deeper with the wheat. So much so that it's wheat in Worcestershire sauce, in other condiments. It's the little bits, the minute bits. And now I've gone and taken a big dose of, the poison for me, and it's just sat there. And it's kind of affected me in my head, blood vision. My hand is very weak. My left hand is very weak. I'm not quite with it. I'm a bit slow, sometimes forgetting what I'm talking about. I couldn't actually cycle up to the hospital. I had to get a taxi. I managed to cycle here today. I felt quite good and proficient. But the other weird thing about it is that whilst this was going on, I just had a very inspiring time too. I did a lot of writing. I was staying up, writing away. I was very happy about that. I haven't slept very much. I've got razor blades in my stomach. Can't really eat, feeling nauseous, but at the same time, not dying.
Clearly. Not yet anyway.
No. I know what's going on. I've been here before. This is quite a serious thing that is happening, and an autoimmune attack going on in my guts right now, but it's not taken me as far as it could have. I mean, I do have a blister in my mouth in the roof of my mouth.
Blood blister.
Yeah, my hands have been itching and swelling. A little bit of kind of raised, itchy blisters on my neck and just random places. Yes. Just feeling it around here, feeling very tired. But this pulling on my brain, the sinuses. I woke up, my voice was talking like that. That congestion is there.
So can we take it for granted you're going to stop eating wheat?
I think I don't need a diagnosis. I got my confirmation through having that beautiful white roll with some butter. Yeah.
And you're mentioning about leaky gut syndrome in the kitchen with Jenny.
Yeah. So so I've had an interesting couple of years, and it's really started off in March 21. And I lost my hearing, and then my ears were filled with fluid, and I was very fortunate that I was using a service called GP at Hand, which is naughty in a way because it's private healthcare on the NHS, but it's been great for me. I've been to see specialists and have MRI scans and had the full works and seen the best of the best and the professors of this and that, and nobody has once considered, could this be something to do with the lymph glands? Why is it that he cannot hear and then suddenly his hearing comes back but he's still got this fluid in his ear, but he can hear? Why? What? There must be something else. And, and then working with you, talking about leaky gut syndrome, immediately, people around me are like, well, that's hearsay. That doesn't really affect people. Oh, maybe celiac people, but leaky doesn't exist. It's IBS. You have IBS. So I've had all of that, and I've seen all these professors, and I've had endoscopes and all sorts done to me, and nothing touches upon the issues that you've brought up. I've trusted the process, but I think it's an interesting case study in itself. What's happened to me and what's happened to me over the last 7 years with with specialists and scans, and nobody has looked at me holistically.
Thing is, looking at you, leaky gut, what's that mean? You look healthy.
Yeah.
You eat all these different foods. I mean, I've seen you eat all these little bits and bobs. You know, you love it, don't you? You love all these little things. And I've looked at that, I thought, but I can't say anything because you're not ready to knock it on the head. Which is essentially when we have leaky gut syndrome, because I've been there, I'm still there, I'm nearly over it, but I'm still there. It's not something that gets cured overnight. And you have to remove the sources of the poison, because the poison is twofold. One is the gluten, which is the lectins, and the other one is the oxalic acid, which is very damaging. Between the two of them, the oxalic acid damages the lining, and it creates the leaky gut, and then the lectin gets through, and then your immune system reacts to the lectin, and you experience inflammations in your body, and it could be anywhere. It could be in your brain.
Yeah.
As easily as it could be in an internal organ.
This is what the doctor's saying to me because of my symptoms. You know, this is affecting me neurologically more than anything. You know, so that's been a bit of a revelation.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, on the positive, it's not the end of the world.
It's a good thing, because it's like, you know, I've spoken to them about what I have been eating, what I have been doing, and it's kind of like, I can't fault you. You know, this is this is the right thing for you. So it's just a confirmation more than anything.
And I'm just going to put this in sideways, but gluten-free food doesn't fix it either.
You
That's
know,
not a solution.
I've been looking at some of this, and like even like the most respected brands are just full of soya and fructose and all these other things, you know. But yeah, I mean, I've been quite light on that anyway. But for me, it's just nice to have. But you know, I hear what you're saying.
He was trying to flog sausages and the black pudding to me.
you can, those two are both possible, you know. And I just get the mince, and I make my burgers, and I make my sausages.
Yeah.
You know, it's possible.
Okay.
No, come on.
Well, not for me, but
No.
you know, I'm a purist. I have to be, because of my own internal damage over the years.
Yeah.
And I have again and again said, oh, maybe I can do a bit of this or do it. And every time I do it, I get symptoms.
Yeah.
And I know, oh, I'm sending myself back in time here. I'm not, because it's easy to damage again, you know, if it's not properly healed, it's easy to increase the damage.
Yeah.
And I've done that so many times over the years. And finally, I said enough.
Yeah.
So now I'm a purist. I just eat my meat and fat and absolutely nothing else. No condiments, no nothing. So disappointing when you love your food, you know, as you do.
Yeah. You know, it's a big part of my identity.
Yeah, yeah. For you and most people.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I understand.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And yet, you know, this is where we are. So let's see what I can. Now, you mentioned some wrist symptoms.
Yeah, so this is going on too, and I think it's because I've been sat at the wrong desk, wrong height of my desk, and but I'm getting some pain going down here on the deltoid, not RSI in the wrist, but just mainly in here. Even like after 10-15 minutes, I don't know if this is because of the gluten, but my arm's feeling weak.
Don't you have
on the
a sort
phone.
of headphone?
Sometimes I do, but I'm just noticing different things that I might do,
Okay.
during the day. for example, I just had to talk to someone on the phone and like, oh God, after 5 minutes, I've got to.
Right. Anyway, so you're aware that there's something not quite right there.
Yeah. That's the main thing. And then also, I mean, it's a bit of sciatica, so I'm feeling I'm getting a knife stabbing pain just into my groin.
Any redness?
No.
Because I used to get that. I used to get, especially when I ate red peppers, which is part of the nightshade family.
Yeah.
And as I was beginning to work my way through transitioning away from ordinary foods, I thought, more lettuces, more peppers, more salads. And every time I went to Spain on holiday, because what do I eat? Oh, peppers, red peppers. So I'd have a few red peppers a day. And I would never understand why I would suddenly have fungal infections in my groin and in my feet, just come out of nowhere. And I would put it down to the heat, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was actually the peppers, the red peppers, my leaky gut, the red peppers were getting straight through. My immune system was reacting. Anyway, shall we see where we go?
Okay, yes.
Okay, what is it that you need? Do you need any structural? Do you need any diet advice? No. Any nutrition? No. Emotional? Yes. Acupuncture? No. So in fact, right now what you need is some emotional work. Shall we go for it? You okay with it being online?
Yeah.
Okay. So, find a fresh piece of paper somewhere. Accumulation of bits of paper everywhere. This will do. Okay. Right, what is your present level of ego-soul synchronization? What's your average? Are you above 20, 23, 23.5, 23.6, 7? So 23.7 at the moment. 23.7.
Gosh, that's dropped.
Well, yeah. You see, we are a collection of personalities, and it depends which one's in charge and how they're affecting our emotions. And so it's a bit of a roller coaster. Till you get to a certain level, it's a lot of up and down going on. So, what was it? 23, 23.1, 2, 3, 23.3, 23.3. Is that accurate? Have I got that right? Okay. How high are you willing to go today? As high as 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, 20, 27, 27.5, 6, 7, 27.7. Okay. So 27.7. Okay. And what part of your personality is holding you back from going up to 27.7? Is it above 7, above 2? 9, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.7, 9.7, and you'd be interested to hear that the level is aloneness. Okay. Any secondaries? So part 1, part 2, part 3. Unfairly persecuted, cheated, victim, violated, belittled, self-disgust, overwhelmed, guilt, culpability, embarrassed. So we got self-disgust and what was it? Culpability.
Gullibility.
No, culpa.
Culpability. Yeah.
Culpability. Any others? In the third? No, in the fourth. False, resentful, frustration, arrogant, vain, critical, stuck, disdain, superiority, rage, unforgiving, jealousy, envy, hate, rancor, and blame. Superiority. Okay. Out of these three, which is the more prominent one? Is it self-disgust, culpability, superiority? Okay, superiority. Now, superiority. Now, that is more of a mental rather than an emotional thing. So we need to work out some sort of mental angle here. Okay, let's have a look. Hold on a minute. Is this to do with the present? This is to do with the past. Is this to do with pre-20? Between 15 and 20, 16, 17, closer to 18, closer to 17. So 17 years old.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Doing my A-levels.
You were doing your A-levels.
I was very alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does superiority come in here? Did you have friends at school?
This is the time, so this is all the period I was, a cleaner from the school saw me coming out of a gay bar, and then she told everyone, and then I just experienced, I guess, everyone blanked me. They'd call that gaslighting now. So very few people went near me. I was a bit weird and like, you know, so yeah, it was a very, very difficult period. Yeah, I was really driven and motivated. I was very much interested in design. So I just saw it as a time just to focus, just ignore what was going on and just try and hold my head high and get on with it. But it was a very lonely period. Gutted because I should have left school and gone to college. The friends of mine that went to college, I was really envious of them because, like, you know, they just got out of this silly school system and were somewhere where they had more autonomy and everyone was a little bit more mature.
So let's focus on this because we're on the right track. So we're looking for the emotion behind your aloneness. So I'd like you to just go inside you for a minute and be 17 years old. Everyone's gaslighting you. You have that sense of isolation. What's the emotion?
It just feels like I'm not good enough and I'm nothing.
Okay.
You know.
So there's that sense of worthlessness.
Yeah.
What about self-disgust? Does that come in there somewhere?
Definitely.
Yeah?
You know,
because that's the one that we've got here, self-disgust. I'd like you to give yourself permission to experience self-disgust. Be that 17-year-old boy. You've been isolated. You're gay. You are different, at least on the outside, from most people out there. You know, they see themselves as heterosexual. You are an aberration from their perspective. You are who you are. And yet that has to generate some sort of conflict within you. Even though you know what you are. You know, well, I'm assuming here that you you know that you know what you are, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with who I am.
Pardon?
I'm fine with who I am.
Right. So we're 17, not today, but so we're
17. Yeah.
And yet, you know, it's like you cannot change your spots. And yet to be who you are, you've got all this alienation around you.
Yeah.
How do you square the circle?
I've got to be the best.
Okay, so that's where the superiority comes in. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm more interested in the emotion behind this. That sense of self-disgust.
It's anger with the world. Anger. It's just like, you know, why can't I just be accepted? But here we go, and I'm just going to dive into this, and I'm angry and disappointed with the world that, you know, I'm just not treated the same as other people. There's a real rage there.
But you're taking that on board. So you're not expressing that rage to the world. You're turning that inwards, and that's where the self-disgust comes in. Yeah. So, but self-disgust is not the word that we're after. Okay, that there is an emotion in there.
There's self-loathing, pity, poor me.
Go deeper, more raw into the emotion. Not into blames.
Yeah.
Not into self criticizing, but the actual emotion behind that you're hiding. with the self-blames, with the labels. The word that comes to me is panic. There's the panic because we all need to belong to the group.
Yeah.
And
oh, definitely panic and fear, rabbit in the headlights the whole time. And especially when I was in this, doing my A levels, and people around me looking at me, and there's always a sense of panic.
Okay, so go to that place. Panic is the word, the emotion behind that describes the panic. Give yourself permission right now to fully experience your panic in your body. On a scale of 1 to 10, make it 1,000. Build it up. Build up all the memories, all the times of that experience. Build it up so that it is a physical tension within your body, somewhere in your body. Build it up. That's it. Keep going. Localize it. Where is it?
Oh, it's in my jaw. It's always in my jaw, but then it's wrapped around my chest as well.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep building it. Keep building it. Really be in touch with your jaw and your middle, your lower abdomen area. Allow your body to move if it wants to. Don't be constrained. Keep building the tension. Keep remembering all those moments. Rabbit in the headlights. What's happening?
So quite calm.
So it ceased now.
Yeah.
Okay. I just felt myself drifting off there. As you went into calmness, I just went into a little daydream area. Okay. Right. So I want you to go back in there now. I want you to go to that little boy, and I'd like you to support him. As you say, you know yourself. You know who you are. You are at peace with that part of yourself. So emphasize that. And recognize that we live in a world where people are very critical of what they fear what they don't understand. We're surrounded by ignorance. And we forgive their ignorance. But at the same time, we protect ourselves. So that younger you inside you needs to be protected. And there's only one way to protect ourselves, and that's with our love. So experience, feel your love, your acceptance, that you're fine. Okay, I think you've done it. Do you need to forgive anyone? No. What is your present level? Are you at 27, 27.5, 6, 7, 27.7? 8? Yeah. So you've done it. You've done that bit of work.
Yeah.
Do you feel that change within you?
Oh, absolutely.
It's the little things that matter.
It is. It's just so interesting, and that word about panic coming up, and then going back to all the times I had the panic. But panic is something that I learned from my grandmother as well. And there was the panic. Oh right, yes, this is how we respond. I've really taken that on board. So I was letting go of that too, really looking at that situation. But then, of course, the other important aspect as well is just understanding, how other people are behaving, and to forgive that. That's always the most powerful thing, I think. And it really is then, just taking that position of, disconnecting from all of that polarity and all that anger. It's just when you can reach that point of just understanding and forgiveness.
So it's interesting. Hold on a minute. Have we finished with the session? We have. Okay, so that's it as far as the session is concerned. So it's interesting that although you came with your physical symptoms,
it's always an emotional cause.
The emotion is what mattered here.
Yeah.
Because the physical symptoms, you keep knocking your head against the wall and you learn from it. You do it a few times, you learn from it. The emotional, it's harder because it's out of awareness.
Yeah.
So, you can deal with the physical. I eat that bread, I'm freaking out now. Okay, 6 months later, I eat that bread, I'm freaking out now. Sooner or later, you get the hang of it. But the emotion is insidious because it's so out of our awareness that it's who we are. It's part of our psyche. And so, you do have a tendency to superiority, which you've acknowledged. Yeah. But it's so who you are.
Yeah.
It's part of your armory, your protective armory to defend yourself from the Philistines out there.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. What this offers you now is that in future, when you begin to get the thoughts about being superior, you can ask yourself, what's my emotion? Because that is a protective mechanism to avoid experiencing the discomfort of the emotion.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Which is what you did today. You see, you did that consciously, so you can free yourself of that. We can never free ourselves of something we're unaware of. Yeah.
Brilliant, Sal. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so this is going to be our session. This is it.
Your video. You got a video out of me.
I've got a video out of it. Thank you very much.
Happy to help,
You have.